Duke is off to a flying start here in Chicago. Blue Devils are up 12-2 with 15:37 to go first half. Homecoming for John Shire, who grew up just outside of Chicago. One thing Mike Krzyzewski has always done is make sure that if a player is from Chicago, there's going to be a game in Chicago that his family and friends can attend. And I think that's a great thing to do for your kids that you recruit. Jim and Lori, his parents, looking on. And Shire will go to the line, another place where he excels. 69 out of 76 from the line so far this year.
I think if you put a first-team All-America team together based on the performance to this point of the year, you'd have to put John Shire on that five-man team. You'd probably put him on there with John Wall of Kentucky, maybe Wesley Johnson of Syracuse, Damian James of Texas. You put Luke Herringody from Notre Dame up there, but Shire has been as good as any guard in the country thus far in the season.
Been absolutely brilliant. Gilstrap, nice pass to Hamilton, and Hamilton scores against Zubac. Gilstrap, quite a story out of Gulf Coast Community College, a young man who thought his career was over 4 years ago because of a severe leg injury. But he's back, and he's got a chance to be a player. Shire kicks it out. Singler off target. Plumlee. Zubac. Zubac had it blocked by Brackens.
Not going to get many better opportunities, but Iowa State just making great plays to save it.
Deontay Garrett on a run. You think they got ripped a little bit during that timeout?
Well, they've certainly come out stronger after that last timeout. Now, this is a team that's capable. They can play. And they can really attack the basket, especially Marquez Gilstrap. He's a versatile player that can put the ball on the deck.
Shire, nice screen, missed the shot. Another rebound to Justin Hamilton, the 6'11 sophomore from Alpine, Utah.
That was a nice box out by Hamilton.
He's in there to rebound and play defense. Bennett, nice pass to Hamilton.
Well,
Garrett, that was pretty.
Garrett did a really nice job of staying on the floor and pivoting. That little side pick and roll.
A little 6-0 run here has gotten Iowa State right back in the ball game. And knocked out of bounds, out to the Cyclones.
Iowa State blocking a shot, getting a run out. Not the quickest of outlets, but Garrett able to get the ball into the middle of the floor and take it all the way against Brian Zubac. That was a nice play off the glass, and this is just completely under control. Not great communication by the Blue Devils after that side pick and roll, and Hamilton had his hands ready and kept the ball high. He didn't have to readjust and allowed help side defense to get back to him.
Scott Christopherson, number 11, checks in for the first time for Iowa State. He's the one battling for the basketball. And that's going to be a foul as Plumlee comes from behind and wraps his arm around him. Really silly foul on Miles Plumlee, the sophomore. Well, tomorrow night it comes down to this. ABC will deliver number 1 against number 2 in the City BCS National Championship game. Colt McCoy in Texas. Could they win their second national championship? Or will Heisman Trophy winner Mark Ingram add more hardware to his collection and lead Alabama to a win? 8 Eastern on ABC tomorrow night.
Just a little high, flat ball screen for Iowa State, and Garrett, usually better going to his left, just blew by on the right side for that jump shot. Iowa State is playing with a lot more confidence after that last timeout.
Playing with tremendous intensity. Duke has missed his last 6 shots, and now we've got an offensive foul.
Just a moving screen, Duke going a little bit too fast, and part of that has to do with the stepped up defensive pressure from Iowa State. This Iowa State team under Greg McDermott is much better defensively than it has been in years past. It used to be more of a containment defensive team. Now they're going out and applying pressure more on the perimeter.
Takes some guys who are more athletic to do it, and he's got them now. Deontay Garrett out of Milwaukee.
That high ball screen, Duke trying to force to the right and then switching on it.
Brackens got the roll that time. Craig Brackens, who's averaging 17.5 points a game, cuts it to 2.
If you can get the ball inside the brackets, he's got a great turnaround jumper and jump hook.
Plumlee left all alone will try a three. No. One and done again. And then Plumlee commits the foul. That's Mason, number one on him. His brother Miles has two.
Duke shooting off of one pass, not making Iowa State guard. But whenever you can see the numbers of the postman, and Deontay Garrett could, you've got to get it into him. And Craig Bracken's an outstanding low post scorer that can step away and knock down perimeter jump shots.
Bracken's numbers are down a little bit this year, and some people have felt he is having an off season, but he's got so much more talent around him. He doesn't have to put up the huge numbers that he did a year ago just to give them a chance to win. And Nolan Smith throws it away as he got caught up on the baseline. The third Duke turnover. And Iowa State with a chance to tie or take the lead.
Duke started the game showing such poise, but over the last few minutes, that poise has disappeared on the offensive end. They have made a lot of bad plays,
trying to make plays off of one pass and one dribble moves.
The teams have totally reversed roles since that last timeout. A drive by Gilstrap, and he will draw a foul. That's two on Lance Thomas.
Marquez Gilstrap just adds a different dimension to this team, doesn't he? He can
put the ball on the deck, very athletic. He's their top rebounder and top offensive rebounder.
They're trying to get this kid a red shirt year. He's listed as a senior, even though this is his first year in an Iowa State uniform. He played 2 years separated by 2 off years at Gulf Coast Community College. And the NCAA rule is you have 5 years to play 4 seasons. Next year would be his 6th. But he was hurt so badly, I think they've got a legitimate argument to be able to bring him back.
He was hurt badly and had a child with his girlfriend during that period and was working 2 jobs, left school. Just a great kid. It would be the right thing to give him another year. We'll see if the NCAA does it.
And the NCAA has been much more liberal in recent years with that, as I think they should be. There's a set shot that Plumlee missed the first time, but he didn't miss that one. Duke's first field goal in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And there's a travel. Good defense by John Shire. Timeout. Duke on top by 4. 11:33 to go, first half. Tell you what, Cornell winning at Kansas, that would qualify as an upset.
No question. You know what it shows, Mike? Obviously, Cornell's really good. They've won the Ivy League several years in a row. And they've got Lewis Dale and Ryan Whitman, Jeff Foote. They've got good players.
But it's Cornell.
Yeah, absolutely. But what it proves is nobody's great this year. We've got a bunch of good teams and some that are very good. I don't think there's anybody that's truly great yet.
Hey, Cornell might be.
No, they're very, very good.
We have 11:33 to go here in the first half. Duke got off to a great start, now leading by 4. A 14-2 run to start this game. But credit Iowa State for fighting its way back in it.
Iowa State not guarding Duke's big guys on the perimeter at all. Ron Dendy was right in the middle of the lane. What a move.
Shire! Holy cow, was that pretty. You just wait for the other guy to relax and then you burn him down.
Well, you wait for the other guy to make a horrendous mistake by getting on the opposite side. You got to stay between your man and the basket when you're pressuring the ball, and Dendy did not do that.
Chris Colvin out of Chicago. It's a homecoming for him as he checks in for the first time for Iowa State. He's number 2 in red.
Has a chance to be very, very good. Went to Whitney Young High School, won a state championship there.
Zubek, jump hook, no. Good rebounding position by Plumlee. Had it blocked, got it back to Singler. Plumlee again, had it blocked, and a foul.
See, when Shire gets the ball in the lane, first he doesn't panic. He makes the play on the floor, pivots. Watch Dendy get on the other side here. There's no reason to try to stop a pass from going outside. What he's got to do is keep Shire away from getting a basket or a drop-off to Mason Plumlee right underneath the basket. That was just a poor defensive play by Dendy.
Smith comes back in. Singler will get a breather.
And Smith is another guard that's having a tremendous year. When he's been freed up from any point guard responsibilities, he can be more of an attack guard. And he's been spectacular since he's come back from that early 2-game suspension for that horrible offense of playing basketball over the summer.
It was a tough role for him last year as a point guard because he's just not a point guard. Good feed, and Dendry comes off the bench. He's provided instant offense for them this year. Almost 8 points as a reserve. Shire. Good rebound to Zubak. Had it blocked from behind by Brackens.
Ed Brackens is just erasing defensive mistakes. Offensive rebound. Brian Zubak, one of the best offensive rebounders in the country, second in the nation per minute, behind only DeMarcus Cousins, the freshman from Kentucky.
Thomas was trying to get position inside, couldn't do it. Excellent defense by Iowa State on the inbounds play. Brackets, tough shot. Nolan Smith with a rebound.
That's why when a big guy gets the ball in transition, you let him have it.
Boy, there was a very, very difficult pass. The ball's knocked out of bounds. They're going to call Iowa State for foul. And that's a bailout as Lucas Steiger called for his first personal.
See that? Not a great pass, just a tiny bit of contact. Ooh, probably looked worse from where Gary Maxwell was standing right behind the play, but clearly not very much contact.
Plumlee left alone again.
Pass, what a great pass.
Shire with a backdoor cut, and Plumlee with a perfect bounce pass, and it's 23-17. Shire already has 9 and just having another spectacular ball game.
You know, there's a great example of why you need pressure on the passer. Mason Plumlee was allowed to see that backdoor cut. You pressure him, he can't see it.
Duke commits a foul here. The shot does not go, but they'll get a couple from the line. Saturday, we've got a double dip for you. Men's college basketball at noon Eastern. The 60th meeting of Connecticut and Georgetown, both in the top 13. UConn looking to snap a 3-game losing streak to the Hoyas. Then at 2 o'clock Eastern, it's Duke again. Number 5 Blue Devils face number 17 Georgia Tech. The last foul was on John Shire, his first.
That UConn-Georgetown game has a chance to be really good. I mean, Jerome Dyson is playing great basketball for UConn, and I'm not sure there's a small forward that is playing any better in the Big East right now than Stanley Robinson. He's been terrific all season long.
Dendry hits the free throw, 23-19 at the 9:30 mark. Duke's led by as many as 12 in this first half.
Ball's got to go inside.
Plumlee was calling for it. Nolan Smith drives instead, has it rejected. Plumlee again. Can't get position. Singler. Good drive, but caught up underneath. You know, in the big picture of things, the thing that's a little scary about Duke is that Kyle Singler is not playing his best basketball yet.
He's not shot the ball particularly well, but he has certainly been pretty darn efficient with the way he has played. And, you know, this is a new role for him, too, stepping out and playing more on the perimeter. He's not posting up quite as much. His matchups have been different on the defensive end, but his numbers still quality. And he's playing with more size. So there are other guys that have been doing a little bit more rebounding. There's not as much rebounding responsibility on his shoulders.
Let's take a look at this backdoor cut by John Shire. He's on the right side of the floor. Let's freeze it right here if we could. The defender gets over the top, and that's an automatic backdoor. But look how there's no pressure on the ball at all on Mason Plumlee. He's able to pick apart that defense.
Got a 3-second violation here. Back to your point about his numbers being down. He's playing a different position. He's playing a more natural position. For years, Duke has had guys playing spots that physically they weren't supposed to.
That has happened. But he's a guy that his future is out on the perimeter. He's not going to be a postman at the next level.
Smith with a runner. The 6'2 junior knocks it home. 25-19. You know, Duke has had 7 shots blocked in this game. 7. Brackens. Good defense inside by Plumlee. Just kept his body in between him and the hoop. Smith all the way underneath and scoops it in. Nolan Smith 2 trips in a row, and it's 27-19.
2 great drives in a row, and Iowa State giving up the lane and giving up some straight line drives.
And you've got to stay out on Nolan Smith when he has the ball. He's made 13 of his last 19 3-point shots. There's Hamilton again on the miss from Gilstrap. Hamilton's had a big first half.
Boy, he's always in the right position, especially defensively.
Plumlee, quick turnaround jump shot, no good. Rebound, Gilstrap.
Plumlee has got a ton of talent. He's still getting used to the physicality of the game. He's got to start finishing plays.
Hamilton. And the foul will go against Craig Brackens as he tried for the offensive rebound.
Nolan Smith, an outstanding scorer, over 18 points per game. Couple buckets in a row, attacking off the dribble.
Got it.
Well, I hope you vote Kansas Cornell #1 on your ballot next week if they win.
You know, if they win, that really creates a big problem for the transitive property of equality national championship. You know, if A beats B, B beats C, therefore A is better than C, that kind of business.
Correct. But only you could set it up that way. Singler forced it up between 2 defenders, got it back again, had it blocked, and this time it's going to be a foul, I believe, on Brackens from behind. No, it's going to be from the front.
Iowa State's going to have to start grabbing some of these offensive rebounds instead of trying to block everything. When that ball's available, they're going to have to go after it with both hands, because they're not. I don't think they're going to be able to rely on blocking shot after shot. Thus far, they've blocked 7 or 8 shots.
Singler will go to the line. It's the first free throw. He's another one of those Blue Devils who shoot it very well from the stripe, 78.4%, and Duke 5th in the country as a team in free throw shooting. And on cue, he missed that one. Zubek with a rebound. Singler way downtown with a miss. Here comes Christopherson.
Well, Lance Thomas really did a nice job of keeping that ball alive. He has been playing very well. He had one of his best games against Clemson the other night, where he did a tremendous job guarding Trevor Booker.
No small task.
Isn't he a terrific player, Booker?
It's a monster.
Great cut.
And then Christopherson can't do anything with it, has to back out. Had he caught it cleanly, had the easy layup. Now he pulls up for a tough 15-footer. Good rebound to Singler. Good hustle, good awareness of where his teammates were. Shire head up all the way. He may not be spectacular, but the kid is special.
Well, he plays with great pace. That was an example of making a play on the floor. You know, some guys play above the rim. He plays on the floor, and very well on the floor.
It's 11 for Shire. Christopherson with a runner gets the basket and will draw the foul on Zubek as well.
Scott Christopherson is a transfer from Marquette. He went to Marquette in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Went to Marquette to play under Tom Crean, an outstanding shooter. And he's one of those guys, he's first in the gym and always the last one to leave. He's improved his body, and he's also improved putting that ball on the deck. This kid is an outstanding competitor.
You know, every time you look at Iowa State under Greg McDermott, they're getting a little better. They're getting a little better. They're building. They're getting more talent.
McDermott is a really good basketball coach. He's an outstanding tactician. And he did a great job at Northern Iowa. He had some very good teams there. You remember back those teams, he had Eric Coleman and Ben Jacobson. He had a bunch of guys that could really play.
Singler weaves his way into the lane, hits the little shot inside. He has 8, and it's 32-24. Duke a little more breathing room again after a great start, and then Iowa State fought back to make it a close game again.
Right now, Iowa State is playing Duke after they make the catch, and it's the opposite way on Duke's defensive end, especially with the way they've guarded Craig Brackens. Duke is making it hard for him to catch the ball, and Iowa State's got to mimic that down on the other end because they've given up a few too many easy opportunities.
Singler picks up a foul on this last play, just trying to be an impediment out there at the top of the circle. He got in the way too much. Gilstrap ran him over and drew the foul.
Well, Iowa State has yet to put Duke into the 1-1 with only 5 team fouls, but Iowa State will be shooting 2 free throws on every foul the rest of the way in this first half. They need to take advantage of it, put Duke more in a position to foul.
Just the front end of a 1-1, tipped out of bounds out to Iowa State.
Atkins looks like he hurt his thumb a little bit. He's holding that left thumb. Seems a little bothered by that after that last play.
Brackens on the inbounds.
Got a little flex cut here for Christopherson.
Down the lane with a left hand. Good block, but the follow is there by Gilstrap. If you can penetrate, you create things. Defenders leave their men to help out. Somebody else is there for the rebound.
Well, especially it changes blockout responsibilities as well. And you have to rotate to get a guy like Gilstrap, who is an outstanding offensive rebounder.
Plumlee leans into one. Offensive rebound, Singler. Another block back out to Nolan Smith for 3.
Oh, that's one where Dendy blocks a shot. Looks like a great defensive play, and it was, but it winds up opening a 3-point opportunity for Duke.
35-26, 4 minutes, 42 seconds and counting. Nice drive by Deontay Garrett.
He is so good going to his left. You really have to force him to the right. He likes to get to that left drive. Good curl.
Oh, and a beautiful pass, and then Plumlee finishes it off. Now that was a clinic there. From the beginning of the play to the end, it was perfectly executed.
That was just a great read of the defense. They were locked and trailed to run him off the 3-point line, and a great curl.
Boy, Christopherson, you can tell this is a kid that works extra hard in the gym to find a way to get his shot. Smith trying to draw the foul, and they got bailed out. Nolan Smith was lucky because there was no way he was getting a good shot in that possession. Brackens with the foul, his second. 3:56 to go first half. Ryan, thanks very much. Don't you love ESPN 360? I mean, we're always doing games. You don't get to see some of the things you want to see. You click on 360, you can find anything. You can find games that are cut up so you can only watch certain parts if you want. It's unbelievable.
And the price is right. That's what I like.
Now, can you imagine? Yeah, I mean, if we were kids and that stuff existed, we'd never go outside.
I don't anyway. You did?
Yes, I did. Played basketball in the snow, as I'm sure you did.
I'm just glad I didn't have video games as a kid.
Oh, my heavens.
There's that 1-2-2 3/4 court pressure again.
Jamie Vanderbeek, number 23, in for the first time for Iowa State. 6'11", 250.
And he's a shooter. He's going to stay around that 3-point line and can knock down perimeter shots if he's left open.
Christopherson gives it up to Garrett. Shot clock at 9. Shire's on him, trying to penetrate. Tough bounce pass inside. Shire comes away with a loose ball. 7th turnover for Iowa State. Shire out of the corner. Short. Garrett with the rebound. Gilstrap. Plumlee with a rebound, and one of his elbows caught Dendy right in the chops.
Gilstrap had an angle to the basket and chose to go right back to the middle. If he had taken that right to the hole, I think he would have kept that angle and perhaps scored or get fouled.
It's 2 shots from the middle, 2 layups that he's missed.
That's a very difficult shot going against your body.
Dendy can't hit it. Lance Thomas lets it go. It's out of bounds to Iowa State.
Pretty smart play by Miles Plumlee inside. Dendy is pretty quick and tried to make a move back across his face, and what Plumlee did was just stay solid to try to make him make a play over.
Steiger, number 5, a really good three-point shooter, back in the ball game.
Steiger hit 10 threes in a game against Drake earlier this year. He had 6 over the weekend against Houston.
You talked about his length. Jamie Vanderbeeken trying that three-point shot, can't hit it. Singler will come back the other way and try his. No.
It was a little early in the clock for that shot. He can hit that, obviously, but he might want to run more offense.
Gilstrap will try a 3. Series of 7-second possessions here.
Duke running Shire and Smith down to run off some low post screens. They work so well together.
Smith called for a palm. And they'll turn it over. Saturday, we've got college basketball coming your way. Number 13, UConn. Number 12, Georgetown. That's at noon Eastern. Then at 2 o'clock Eastern, number 5, Duke faces number 17, Georgia Tech, as we start to get into the heart of conference play.
And Georgia Tech with 2 outstanding big guys, Derek Favors and Donnie Wall, coming off a loss. They lost down at Georgia. Mark Fox in his first season at the helm of that Bulldog program. And Georgia Tech has not won at Georgia since 1976.
Isn't that amazing?
It's remarkable.
The one that surprised me was Duke over Clemson. Not the fact that they beat them, but the fact that they just pounded them. That was the first ACC game for both of those teams. 1:15 to go first half. This is Shire working against Lucas Steiger, the young German. Smith, good crossover, still can't get free. Shot clock down to 10. What a bank. Oh, that was pretty. This kid is something else. 13 points for Jon Scheyer.
Well, he spent all this season as a point guard in the latter half of last season, but he's very used to moving without the ball. And once he gave the ball up, he's a scoring 2.
Garrett right back the other way. Duke had its biggest lead at 13. That cuts it to 11.
Well, that's why you want to force Deontay Garrett to his right, because
He is much better driving to his left.
30 seconds.
Jon Scheyer moves so well without the ball. Coming off for the handoff, just getting an angle on Lucas Steiger.
And he is so good at putting that ball off the glass. When he gets into the lane, and we talked about him not being a guy that plays above the rim. He plays on the floor, and he's got great poise in the lane.
He leads the ACC in assists. He's second in the ACC in scoring. Leads the country in assist to turnover ratio. This is a different player than we saw last year, at least in a different role.
Well, he's had a consistent role throughout the year. You know, last year he was switched to the point later on in the season. This year he has started out as the point guard. And one of the things about Scheyer, he's a really good leader. He's a team-first guy, and he puts a high price on chemistry. You know, he wants his other teammates to be happy. He's worried most about wins rather than about who gets the credit. And as a result, he's getting an awful lot of credit. If you had to give out ACC Player of the Year now, and obviously we don't have to, I think Jon Scheyer would be the ACC Player of the Year.
He's been brilliant so far. He's led the Blue Devils to a 12-1 record. 2.5-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock, so Duke holding it as long as they can.
I want to get a shot off with around 4 seconds to go, give them a chance for yet another offensive board.
Here's Scheyer around the screen, had to hurry it and got off a line drive shot, and Iowa State good if it goes. Gilstrap got it off with about 0.2 of a second and buried the 3. And still the biggest halftime deficit for Iowa State this season.
And he had pressure on him. Nolan Smith made him pick up his dribble some 30 feet. Gilstrap showing some athleticism. He got pretty good lift on that shot. That is not easy to shoot a ball from that far out when you have completely stopped your dribble.
Our halftime score, Duke 41, Iowa State 33. Now we join Ryan Burr, Steve Lavin, and Jimmy Dykes for the college basketball halftime report.
We're back out to Duke and Iowa State after this. The Blue Devils by 12. One more quick timeout.
14:07 to go in this ball game. Kyle Singler will be going to the free throw line for a couple of shots as Duke now leads by 14. Iowa State 6 turnovers this half and 13 for the ball game.
Yeah, Duke
6 turnovers is a turnover a minute, and that won't work.
Yeah, Duke has come out much more resolute in the second half defensively. Got a pretty good idea that Mike Krzyzewski got into his team about showing their emotion on the defensive end when he gave his halftime presentation. And Duke's been playing much better defense, and their defense all game long on Craig Brackens has been very good. They have not allowed the leading scorer for Iowa State to get any good looks at the basket. 1 for 4 thus far in the game for Brackens, only 2 points.
Duke with its biggest lead, 16 points. They have never trailed after a quick start. Iowa State made a big comeback in the first half to make it very competitive. They're going to need it again. Gilstrap
Stepped on the sideline. Well, when you consider, Mike, that the last 2 games, Lance Thomas has guarded Craig Brackens and Trevor Booker of Clemson, and the job that he has done on both those outstanding players, you know, he has shown himself to be a versatile and really tough defensive player.
If you guard Booker, you can guard just about anybody because that guy's a beast.
One-man gang.
Bank at home and draw the foul. John Shire is spectacular.
Well, John Shire just makes smart play after smart play. Keeps his poise, makes plays on the floor. An outstanding shooter. He can hit pulling up or coming off screens, and he can absorb a bump and finish a play. 18 points in this game, 7 of 15 from the field. And coming back home, he played his high school basketball at Glenbrook North High School here outside of Chicago.
He plays a lot stronger than he looks. You talked about being able to take a bump. Doesn't look like the kind of a guy who would.
Well, he's a big guard, too, so playing the point. Usually he's being guarded by smaller point guards, and Colvin throws the ball out of bounds. And not a lot of poise on the offensive end in this second half by Iowa State.
Blue Devils on an 8-0 run. They have extended the lead to 19. Tomorrow night, it's the City BCS National Championship game on ABC. Number 1 against number 2, Texas, Alabama. Can Texas run the football? They haven't been able to all year long. They're going to hang it on the shoulders of Colt McCoy. As great as he is, it may be a tough night because that Alabama defense is awesome, starting with Mount Cody. And now they're using him on offense, a 355-pound blocking back in goal line situations. You don't want to be the defensive back on the line of scrimmage taking him on.
Remember Refrigerator Perry? That's the size of an industrial refrigerator you're talking about.
That's right. Here's a reach-in and a foul against Duke. It's going to be on Ryan Kelly, the freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina. It's his first. Well, if you're Iowa State and you're entertaining thoughts of a comeback, now would be the time.
Double high screens. And this is the only clean catch that Brackens has got.
Tries a tough shot and knocks it down. The junior out of Palmdale, California, hits that jump shot, and it's 58-41.
Boy, the degree of difficulty on that was awfully high. Little step back jumper.
Smith, an impossible pass for Mason Plumlee to handle.
Duke has been shooting the ball better from three-point range. They're 5 of 13. And this Iowa State team has not gotten any open looks. Gilstrap has had a couple of opportunities. Lucas Steiger has taken one shot, his first of the game. Other than that, Steiger, Christopherson, their 2 best three-point shooters, haven't gotten any real opportunities to shoot it.
And really, you count those guys, and then you throw in Brackens. 3 of the people that they look to for points have done virtually nothing.
You know, it's been
you can't win now.
Yeah, it's been the pressure that Duke's been able to put on the ball that Iowa State has not been able to see openings. They've taken away vision. They have pushed Iowa State further out on the floor, so all of a sudden your passes are longer. When you catch the ball, you're not in a scoring position. And your drives are longer. Instead of a 1 dribble drive to get in the lane, it takes 2. And that gives the defense, especially help side, more time to recover.
Dendy with a miss at the line where he has been a liability this year. Only 10 out of 22 makes that one. Here's a familiar name to Duke fans, but he's wearing an Iowa State uniform. Charles Boozer, the younger brother of Carlos. Family moved to Raleigh, North Carolina when he was at Duke. And he plays for Iowa State. It's a little homecoming for him.
An energy guy for Iowa State. Very good defender. There's a loose ball. He gets down on the floor for it.
Totally different body types. Shire. Boy, shooters love the top of the key. Shire knocks this one down. He has 22 points.
It's funny. John Shire's a great shooter. He doesn't have unbelievable perfect form, but he shoots the same shot every single time. And his shot preparation is impeccable.
Boozer, and he's fouled. Missed the shot, got it back. The Boozer brothers. Carlos talking to the younger Charles.
That's me. I'm asking for a loan from him.
Welcome back to Chicago, the home of Mike Krzyzewski. I wish I knew what he had graduated from there. You know, there ought to be a rule. You can't show black and white photos of somebody else. It's just not right.
Well, there's the gang that Mike Krzyzewski grew up with. There's his brother Bill, now a retired fire captain from Chicago. Mike Krzyzewski is prouder of anything in his life than he is of his older brother Bill, who just had both knees replaced. And you know, I played for Mike Krzyzewski a million years ago, and I can't tell you how many locker room speeches we got about we're not tough enough because we're not from the inner city of Chicago like he and his brother Bill were from. That, you know, the Chicago where they wear tweed suits and no underwear, how tough it is. And we were a bunch of suburban kids that didn't know what tough meant.
And that's tough during a fire, pal. Try that on a hot summer night. There may not be anybody on the planet that he admires as much as his brother Bill.
No question.
Singler with a rare miss and an air ball at that. And back the other way, Chris Colvin. Whistle away from the ball.
They got Singler trying to guard Brackens. Brackens was posting up probably as hard as he's posted up all game long, but he has had no opportunities to get the ball in the post. First it was Lance Thomas, and Thomas has done an extraordinary job being active, staying in front, giving some different looks to Brackens, and they've just not been able to get the ball into him.
He averages 17.5 points a game, almost 8.5 rebounds a game, and yet in this one he has been virtually invisible.
Well, his last 4 games, he's averaging over 18 points, 10 rebounds, shooting 56% from the field. And he's a versatile player that has a lot of different moves down in the post, but if you can't get the ball into him, he can't make any of those moves. And Iowa State has not, but the times he has been open, the pressure on the ball has been such that they've missed him.
Thomas had to pick up his dribble. This is going to be a hold on Colvin, trying to keep Shire from making his break.
Yeah, Colvin just grabbed him. He wasn't sure which way he was going to go, so he just reached out both arms and grabbed him. And Shire having yet another great game on his homecoming ball game.
Singler with a miss. Rolled tantalizingly over the rim. Garrett with a run out and got it. Deontay Garrett out of Milwaukee. Little pull-up runner, and it's 61-46. He's in double digits with 10.
But he is a good player, and
You know, we've talked about John Shire and his near 5-to-1 assist turnover ratio. It doesn't sound as good because of Shire's, but Deontay Garrett's got a 3-to-1 assist turnover ratio. That's the best in the Big 12.
And it's in the top 15 in the country. Singler called for the travel. Still within hailing distance, 15 points at the 9:56 mark. But time is starting to get away from Iowa State.
Second timeout.
Blue Devils. Is this a good measuring stick for Iowa State for their conference play in the Big 12?
I think it is. I mean, Iowa State, I think, is better than they've played. You have to give Duke all the credit for taking them out of this game. But, you know, Iowa State is rising up to start competing with the best teams on a consistent basis in the Big 12, which is a very difficult league. You know, the problem for the Cyclones is in the Big 12, you know, they've got Kansas and Texas, which are, in my judgment, the two best teams in the country.
That's a problem.
But they've not been able to find any openings in running their half-court offense. I mean, everything has been a struggle. It's been
Colvin working against Shire.
It's been an awful lot of dribbling as opposed to passing.
Brackens, talk about tough shots. An excellent defense by Duke.
They caught a double team when he put the ball on the deck, and if that's the degree of difficulty of shots that Craig Brackens is going to have this last 9:15, I don't think Iowa State's going to have much of a chance.
Smith around the screen. Shire head up all the way. What a beautiful drive.
And it's another play, Mike, that was made on the floor. Catches the ball in the corner where most guys would have just shot that ball. There was a slight opening, but instead, a little shot fake where he never lifted up and then got all the way in the lane and made his play on the floor.
He has 24 points. Nice play there by the freshman Colvin as he drives, gets a basket, and draws a foul.
It's terrific poise by Shire. He's got a great knack for seeing the right opening and making the right play, whether it's a finish or a drop off or kicking the ball out. And here's the high ball screen. Colvin able to split it, and that's one thing when you're defending ball screens. You cannot allow that guard to split the defense.
This kid was ranked in the top 15 of point guards coming out of high school in the country.
Well, he's a very good player, and he's got a chance to really be good. A little 1-2-2 3/4 court pressure right now put on by Iowa State.
And when you get a top 15 point guard and he's not going to be an immediate starter, that really means your program is building up a lot of great depth.
It's so hard to play a freshman point guard. Does it happen? Absolutely. I mean, but guys like John Wall are few and far between.
Oh, that would have been spectacular. Plumlee tried the jam off the lob, didn't quite get it, then commits the foul. That's 4 on Mason Plumlee.
It shows you what kind of an athlete Mason Plumlee is. You know, Mason Plumlee is the most talented player on this Duke team. Little lob, catching it with the right hand, just threw it a little too far, but he has got big-time talent, and he broke his wrist, missed several games, and was put behind a little bit. But as he catches up and as he starts being able to absorb some of the physical play and start finishing plays, I think you're going to see Mason Plumlee be a really big factor in the development of this Duke team.
When you talk about a kid who's 6'10", 230, and you describe him as somebody who has the skills of a guard, you've got something.
And he's got competitive spirit, too.
63-51, Iowa State on a 9-2 run. They did this in the first half to make it a ball game as we go under 8 minutes. Lob and a jam. Miles Plumlee says, my younger brother may have missed, I'm not going to.
Well, Iowa State in the zone look that last possession.
Boy, Brackens is taking some hideously difficult shots.
Yeah, you can tell he's frustrated. I mean, he has not gotten anything in the rhythm of the game, and he's starting to force things.
I mean, the Russian judge would have given him a 9-9 on that one.
And that was one after Duke had just scored where you needed to have a good possession, especially to calm your team down.
Smith got it. should take the starch out of the Iowa State comeback. 14 points for Smith, but Gilstrap knocks home the three. 68-54.
Shire off the ball now, so he's going to be able to move without the ball with the freshman Colvin guarding him.
The clock, once again, Duke's friend right now. Shot clock down to 9. Shire. Got it. Those are killers. When you use up the majority of the shot clock, then still get a good look and drain it.
Just another great read.
Nice move by Brackens. Got the layup and draws the foul.
Duke is getting it done in a variety of different ways. Against the zone look, the alley-oop to Miles Plumlee, then Nolan Smith after the great extra pass by Lance Thomas. And then another great read on the fade to the wing by John Shire, having another great performance.
3 left to go in the ball game at the United Center in Chicago. The Plumlees, freshman and sophomore, that's what 6'10", 230 looks like at 5 months.
Did somebody in our crew go in and steal a bunch of photo albums from these guys' families? How do we get all these pictures? And I'm not sure that guys that are trying to establish their toughness on the college basketball level want their baby pictures shown.
Well, you're next.
Hey, I wouldn't mind. I had hair back then. I wouldn't mind being shown those things shown right now.
Brackens at the line. In the mock drafts that they held last year before he made his decision to come back, he would have been picked anywhere between number 13 and number 28. So he had a lot of cash waiting on him. Decided he would come back, work on his strength, work on a couple of other aspects of his game. And that usually serves someone in good stead.
Yeah, usually. But the interesting part, those mock drafts, sometimes they're accurate, sometimes not with regard to individual players. But the feedback that Greg McDermott was getting from NBA front office personnel was that Brackens was all over the map with regard to how he was viewed. That some people viewed him favorably on the NBA level, but a lot of people just weren't sure. And since coming back over the summer, he played for the World University Games team that was coached by Bo Ryan and was able to play with guys like Robbie Hummel and Deshaun Butler of West Virginia. That really helped improve his game as well. And he has not shown well in this particular game. You can see there are about 20 to 25 NBA scouts here in the building tonight, and they're looking at a number of different players, but Brackens is a big one.
Great anticipation by Shire. Takes it in himself, missed the shot, went down hard and draws the foul.
Shire does a really nice job of seeking out body contact. He draws fouls very effectively and efficiently. He's got 29 points in this game. He's got 10 of 18 from the field. He's knocked down half of his 8 3-point shots.
And when you shoot free throws the way he does, seeking out body contact is a great idea.
Absolutely.
He's got that near perfect stroke.
For anybody,
that didn't bounce out.
For anybody, the free throw line is the most efficient place from which to score on a basketball court. And the more you get to it's the whole game. If you can get to the free throw line more often than your opponent, you are more likely to win, period.
Doesn't it drive you nuts watching guys who shoot 50% from the line?
I was one of those watching. Actually, I shot like in the mid to high 60s or something, and when I played,
I'm not insulting you after.
Well, when I played, that was a bad free throw shooter.
That's right.
Now people say, well, don't foul him.
Hamilton, he's had a pretty good game.
He has had a good game. He's a solid player.
He has 10 points.
And he's rebounded very well.
Yes, he has. 75 to 58. Duke on top on its way to its 13th win. And the Blue Devils can credit 61% shooting from the floor in the second half for increasing this lead. And they're so good at milking the clock when they're in this situation. Hand check by Christopherson. Saturday we'll have 2 good games for you on ESPN. First at noon, it will be meeting number 60 between UConn and Georgetown, and UConn looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. Then at 2, number 5 Duke Plays against 17th ranked Georgia Tech.
Now, this is a pretty good Iowa State defensive team. They guard pretty darn well. And in the second half, Duke has shown a lot more poise with the basketball, and they've made a lot better decisions against the pressure that Iowa State has put on.
And they've shot the ball very well because they've taken better shots and they've moved the defense.
Duke, the #1 free throw shooting team in the ACC. They came into this game 76.4%. And as much as the offense puts a premium on going to the line, if you shoot 76%, you're going to be very, very difficult to beat down the stretch of close games.
Well, especially when you've got reliable guards like Shire, Smith, and I keep calling Singler a guard. I think he plays a guard position.
Plays like one doesn't. Shire out of the corner, too strong, offensive rebound.
Coach K was calling for Plumlee to kick that ball back out so they could run some clock. But
that might have been the wiser choice.
There's John Paxson of the Chicago Bulls. Had a lot of great games in this building.
Didn't he ever?
You can see Gar Foreman, the acting GM, right next to him. John Paxson was a great college player at Notre Dame and had to overcome a lot
Over there on that bench being coached by Digger Phelps. And he's got an
awful lot of intestinal fortitude.
You'll pay for that one.
I pay for it anyway.
Even if I complimented Digger, I'd pay for it.
He knows I love him.
Plumlee hits them both. 79-58. 4:38 and counting.
Now, earlier in the season, when Duke played against Charlotte, if I remember right, it was the first game back for Nolan Smith. And I said at the time during halftime of that game that I thought Duke was the best team in the ACC with Nolan Smith back. I've seen nothing in the last several weeks that's changed that opinion. I think this is the best team in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
What's interesting to me, having seen them early, is that most teams don't start showing obvious improvement, major improvement, until the last third of a season. These guys have gotten visibly better in 5 or 6 games.
And they're playing differently than they played in years past.
Yes.
You know, they've been a team that has really gotten out in passing lanes and choked offenses off
from the very beginning. They're more of a containment defensive team this year. And they're a much better rebounding team than they've been. I mean, they're out rebounding opponents by over 8 per game. I think when Mike Krzyzewski looks at the stat sheet, he probably says, no, bring us my team stat sheet.
That's right.
You know, because when you pressure like they do, get out in passing lanes, it's really difficult to block out and have inside position all the time.
Smith doing a really good job of controlling the basketball, and then the penetration opens it up for Singler, and he knocks home the 3 out of the corner.
Well, they just space you so wide. You know, 9 of 19 from 3. Iowa State has not been able to get up an open look, especially guys like Lucas Steiger and Scott Christopherson, their 2 best three-point shooters.
Bracken's trying to lean in. And boy, you're right. Almost every shot he has had has been about as difficult as you can hope to have. And he's just had a tough night.
Back to you guys in Chicago.
All right, thanks, Ryan. 3:33 to go here, all over but the final score, as Duke has played consistently well tonight against an Iowa State team that came in with a 10-3 record. And Brackens finally gets an easy shot. He has a dozen points tonight, well below his average still.
You know, if you're going to name an MVP of tonight's game, you know, John Shire would be the obvious choice. But I'll tell you what, Lance Thomas would be right in that mix for the defensive job that he did on Craig Brackens in this game.
Defense often overlooked except by the coaching staff. Smith, nice drive. Really explodes when he goes inside.
Well, just gave a little crossover move left to right. And late in games, Duke keeps the floor spread so wide that there's no help side. Individual defense is really difficult to play on such skilled guards.
Christopherson trying to penetrate, had to pick up his dribble. Beautiful bounce pass. The scoop shot won't go, but a foul by Chris Colvin.
Greg McDermott, the Iowa State head coach, and he's got a son that is a very good basketball player at Ames High School. He's a teammate of Harrison Barnes, the #1 high school player in the country that has signed to go to North Carolina next season. His son Doug McDermott is a big guy, and
He's going to play for Ben Jacobson next year with the Northern Iowa Panthers. And I'll tell you what, Northern Iowa
has got another good team. I think they're top 25 capable this season. So he's going into a program that is very well established, thanks in large measure to Greg McDermott.
Andre Dawkins checks in for the first time for Duke. A little surprising to see him get in only in the final 2.5 minutes. Dawkins coming out of a high school in Chesapeake, Virginia, with a reputation as a brilliant long-range shooter.
Well, he certainly shot the ball well this year, and he really could still be in high school, only 18 years old, and came out of high school early to start his freshman year.
You know, you look at Duke's roster and you think as there's Dawkins in and out on a jumper, the only thing systemically that really scares you about them is their total lack of depth at guard. If something should happen to either Nolan Smith or John Shire, you just make yourself sick.
Yeah, but that's probably true of a lot of teams. There aren't a lot of teams that have stockpiled, you know, all conference caliber guards that they can just rotate in. So I think that's probably true of a number of teams that they want to keep their guys healthy.
Shire in his homecoming.
Awfully nice for that young man. You know, he told his parents he didn't want to know who was coming to the game, that who had tickets, and a couple proud parents there to see their son perform so well in his homecoming. You know, when he came out of high school, a lot of people thought that he was going to go to Illinois. Dave Weber was his high school coach, the brother of Bruce Weber, and he used to get booed. He got booed at Cubs games, he got booed at Blackhawks games where his sister worked. So it's nice for him, I'm sure, to come home and get a nice hand.
I tell you what, when your friends and family are involved, the pressure really steps up. When you know that someone in particular is listening. I once worked at a radio station in Washington, D.C., and George H.W. Bush, then the President of the United States, called and said how much he enjoyed listening to our station. And nobody did anything right for the next 3 days. We were all trying to impress the President.
That's probably good policy in general, try to impress the President no matter where you are.
Absolutely. Under a minute to go. It's 86-63. We invite you to stay tuned for SportsCenter. Steve Levy, Scott Van Pelt. We'll take a look at David Stern handing down the suspension to Gilbert Arenas in that very strange situation. Big night for the Big East in college hoops. And the Hall calls for the Hawk.
Andre Dawson going into the Baseball Hall of Fame, well deserved, but I'll tell you what, I was shocked that Roberto Alomar didn't get the call.
Were you?
I was. I mean, he's the best second baseman of his generation. I mean, I was absolutely shocked that Alomar didn't get in.
It is, there are a lot of things that go into the Hall of Fame for baseball, a lot of dynamics involved there.
But it's almost like there are some that don't want to vote certain players in on first ballot because other players didn't get in on first ballot.
That's absolutely the case.
And that kind of thing would drive me crazy.
Absolutely. And some of them don't even mind saying it. You know, this guy's not getting in because the other guy didn't get in, and that's that. Alex Dorr in for the first time, gets his name in the scorebook. Davidson is in for Duke. Jordan is number 41. Boy, if you're in this situation, I'd be so tempted to fire one from about 28 feet. I mean, you work so hard in practice all the time. Now you're in a game, get a chance to shoot. Dawkins short on a jumper. Davidson got it back. Only 6 seconds to go, son. Crank one. Sportsmanship prevails. 86-65, the final. Duke very impressive on the whole, don't you think?
Very impressive, especially in the second half. Their defense was very good, and they were much more poised and efficient on the offensive end.
Once again, our final score here in Chicago. Number 5, Duke, 86. Iowa State, 65. Coming up next, SportsCenter. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Jay Billis and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Good night from Chicago.